right, so bit of a flat day today after a move lower on the overnight session. Tesla's back to about where it closed. Got Match.com up 2% today, leading our board. MDCO down 2% at the bottom of our board. 50-50 day today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go check out global lists. Skyworks. Ooh, little gappy gap getting close. I'll check out some Skyworks fundamentals. Just remind myself the what that stock's up to. Hey, what's up, Rob? So Skyworks, a former huge leader back in the day, makes analog mixed signal ICs, amplifiers, attenuators, detectors, diodes, couplers, mixers, and demodulators. Make Electronics, EPS down 18%. Last 3 quarters, EPS negative 12%. Everything's red in the earnings section. Pre-tax margin 37.8%. That's not bad. ROE 32.4%. Relative strength is 66. So definitely not. Doesn't look like leadership. Could see turnaround, but I'm not sure if I want to. Why is Skyworks on Apple iPhone 11 production? Oh, here's another note on Skyworks. All right. Let's check it out. We have Cohen, whoever Cohen is, upgraded Skyworks. So an analyst upgrade. Yay. All right, today's going to be a short show, guys. Probably bouncing about a half hour. Match.com bouncing off that 200-day pretty nicely. Baidu, Glog. It's like Roku's up. So the little U-turn may have been completed. We'll see if we find some resistance. We're coming up to the 50-day. That's a very likely place to find some resistance, especially the way we broke through the 50-day coming down. It's a very likely place to find some resistance. Just normal moves for the most part. What's down here today? Ooh, Hexo, huge drop. It's an MJ name, VFF. I don't remember if that's a MJ name or not. Yep, looks like it. Yeah, Village Farms, that's MJ. Huge drop, 11%. Cyber, down about 3% today. Everybody, NIO Rob's only down 3%. It's nothing for them. What are they doing? They're slacking. But 2 MJ names taking it deep on the chin this morning. CGC and ACB, both MJ names, still down here. A lot of MJ names down here today. Yeah, Roku was pretty nice yesterday. Nice reversal out of that low. Cron with a big spike lower here. What's that about? Oh, that's real. That's open market session too. That's a nice little spike lower. That one counts. Tilray, also firmly lower. And right down here with Beyond Meat, which is still taking a beating. I'm really likening this to Tilray and the fact that it's just never going to bounce again. Just seems highly unlikely. Although, I mean, it's completely different from the MJ sector. Its price to sales is 51. Holy bejesus. That is huge. So yeah, probably very likely to continue going lower. Their market cap's 8 billion, their sales are 165 million. So a huge difference there. Just a massive difference there. That's not very good.
Dad,
Yes, Ethan.
where's Beyond Meat?
Huh?
I don't know.
Check out Daily Movers. Rare X looks like they got acquired. Bed Bath & Beyond up big today. So that's not earnings either. New CEO appointment. Man, how long has this thing been in a downtrend for? Okay, I guess it's all on the chart there since 2014. End of 2014 up at 80, now at 12. Quite a bit of volume down here around this this $10 level for Bed Bath & Beyond. Some volume there, some volume there, and elevated all through here. That could be interesting. New CEOs can do the stock some good. Yeah, that's the only one pretty interesting because it's the only one that you've ever heard of. Long-term turnaround plays. We got Skyworks, Court, which is already broken out from a long-term turnaround, and ABC, long way to go. FTNT, Fortinet, been consolidating here for the past year and a half or so. Well, not quite a year and a half. So those are still waiting to turn around. And back to our actionable list where we find not much going on today. Not so far. Market's flat after being down lower on the overnight session. MDCO, MJ, SLV down 1.57%. Backing away from that trend line. Gold looks like it's doing the same thing. Yep. DocuSign yesterday, big bullish move out of the range. Looks like we're holding up above it pretty decently. So if we can maintain this trajectory, maybe we'll get a Roku kind of did something like this on its way up. Kind of broke out of a high flag here and then just started walking up. Ended up going up for about two weeks or so before ultimately collapsing due to circumstances, market circumstances. Comcast. This is probably This is probably the sell-off on the news, on the rumor that Comcast was putting out their thing, and this is the sell-off on the news that Comcast was doing their own thing. Huh. Can't turn my light on. There we go. All right, let's just walk top down. What you looking at, Rob, besides stocks that are taking? And that's 30%, not too bad. Better than 89% that it's been down in the past 2 years. Restoration Hardware doing good. Winnebago is still flagging out. You guys firmly lower yesterday. Didn't take out the lows, but definitely an elevated selling day. Not very good action. Twilio still holding there pretty good. There's DocuSign looking good still. Transportation's holding steady within this broad range. Disney looks like it maybe ready to continue the move lower. Chipotle holding up very nice. So this is the fifth week of a consolidation. And it's almost the base requirement. The prior uptrend for a base, from my understanding, is 20%. This is at 18%. So I'm not sure if that qualifies or not. But there's a flat base component going on here. You got one down week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And a flat base could take place in 5 weeks. Only down 10%, definitely qualifies. So Chipotle definitely looking really good. Gotta wait for the breakout though. So if I want to take a TQQQ play soon. Other than that, you're all cash. Yeah, it's not a bad position to be in. And I'm not even really mad at TQQQ. I think it's gotta move a little bit first. Got to see a little bit of conviction, but we've seen so much selling lately. The market's just choppy. I don't, like I was saying yesterday, I'd almost rather miss the first initial move than just be chopped around. Because when you get these uptrends, they can last for very long periods of time. So if you miss the first 10% in TQQQ, you're going to get another 50%. You don't need 60%. But what can happen is you can be chopped. You can lose 10% to 20% chopped around in the TQQQs during very choppy environments, and we're in a pretty choppy environment. Now, if you give it a broader stop, that may be different, but you're also putting much more capital at risk. And could be, Rob. Well, so there's a couple perspectives to that, okay? So I'm kind of approaching this from a general trading rule perspective, and maybe that's the wrong way to approach the TQQQ. The general strategy there is when the market's in a correction, you exit it, and when the market's in an uptrend, you just leave it there. Okay, those are pretty much your two states. And the market shouldn't get too far away from you during a correction, at least by the time it's called, as IBD's been slacking on that lately. To be honest with you, I think the market should be in a correction, at least in terms of IBD standards. We've had a tremendous amount of distribution days. So from that perspective, you probably should be looking for a follow-through day to get back into the market. You know, instead of arbitrarily, entering and exiting, which is just a recipe for chop and disaster. It really is. Just trying to guess when we're going up and when we're going down. It's a recipe for disaster. You've got to have a framework to base your decisions around. And that's why the follow-through days and the distribution days are such a good thing, because they give you a framework that's historically accurate. There's a little bit of judgment call that needs to go on there. I mean, obviously, as such, everything in life needs a judgment call. There's some times when um, running a red light is probably a good thing. That's a judgment call. So, I don't know. I think our uptrend, market in uptrend, I think was this day. No, maybe it was this day. I think this day was our marketing confirmed uptrend right there. So we're actually lower than that. Doesn't mean so the uptrend isn't negated. That's what this line here represents. This is when the uptrend is negated. Distribution, regardless of distribution days. If we get under this line, the uptrend is negated. We have not gone under that. So technically according to IBD, we're still in an uptrend. Of course, they did go uptrend under pressure like 5 distribution days ago, which is not normal. IBD does not have their act together. From many perspectives, I've noticed many flaws, but they may still have the call correct in that we're uptrend under pressure now. They should have moved it uptrend into under pressure on this distribution day, probably right here, but they did it way back here. But regardless, we're still in a situation where we have an uptrend. So, if you want to, you could take TQQQ positions because we are in an uptrend, kind of. But one more distribution day and you've got to exit positions. So, but that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. So yeah, if you want to enter, you could. You definitely could enter. You're just waiting for the next distribution day to take you out, and that could end up being a 10% hit. Just saying. Because you go down 3%, 3.3%, which you're right there, and that's going to be 10% for the TQQQs. Which that the big uptrend starting 2018, we got 65% out of it, which is where I pulled that number out from. But you just don't want to do it too many times. So I'm kind of going against the grain and holding, kind of sitting on my hands here in terms of the TQQQ. Yeah, just because there's just so much chop and garbage around China. You could have like 2 or 3 bad news around China and this thing's dumping big. I don't really want to, I'll give up a little bit of upside movement for some downside protection. You don't have to be invested every day. Oh, really, Rob? Okay. Yeah, I use Thinkorswim, and they're all going to have free commissions maybe this week, or I don't know exactly when that starts. So, you can go to TD Ameritrade and you can get the Thinkorswim software, which is highly regarded. I would argue that past this, and I'm not really up on all of the technology, in trading, like in terms of all of it. I don't know what's the next great platform. I know all these companies are trying to do their own thing, but this is a pretty good software. I actually really like it. It does way more than I ever really want to. And now that everything's free, screw it. On the flip side of that, if you wanted to go greatly advanced, you can go the eSignal route, which is going to cost you like $250 a month. But I don't think that's money you're willing to spend. Nor am I, to be honest with you. I'm not going to spend $250 a month on that. So, but there's eSignal software. You got to get data into it. It's kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing. All right, so what we got? We got Tesla up 1.72%. All right, breaking out. Little early breakout. How's volume? Volume's okay. And Tesla's going. I think I'm going to buy my Tesla position. I was kind of waiting for that pullback you guys were talking about yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I probably will pull back, but maybe not. I think I'm buying. All right, I bought a few shares. We'll see what happens with it. Hey, what's up, Eli? Man, those MJ stocks, Eli, are just dead. Did you see our stream the other day when we kind of went over some of the MJ stocks? They're going down a lot lower. They're going to be cut in half again from here. Is what it looks like. Same with Beyond Meat. You want a nice short? Beyond Meat looks like a really nice short. Looks a lot like Tilray. You short this thing easily down to 100 probably. There's a big gap right there. It's about 25% lower. Yeah, those MJ stocks are there's no saving them at this point. Oh, nice, Ethan. That's pretty cool. Yeah, bad luck. I'd say over enthusiastic by a long shot. Trying to stick to a wheelhouse of strategies, and that's not one of them apparently. Restoration Hardware. So what you looking at these days, buddy? What you up to? You looking at names, or you just sitting on your hands working your butt off? Yeah, no, I'm with you, Rob. I agree with you on that, but the problem is it's probably going to be a ways out. When stuff does what MJ's doing in the markets, it's hard for it to really turn hard and run again. It can. And MJ's a sector that may do that at some point in time, but we may just do nothing until next year's elections. I can't see another catalyst for that unless you get, congressional approval and stuff like that. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, Eli. Yeah, so not a whole lot changing in these markets, I think, until these China trade negotiations are over. Although, to be honest with you, I think we're going higher. I think it's going to be a choppy garbage mess until then, but I think in the end we'll go higher, no matter which way it resolves itself. I never forgot the China thing. Oh my gosh. I'm literally so sick of the China thing. That's if I don't hear another word about the China trade war, I will be a happy individual. Like a super happy individual. I just want to look at charts. I don't want to hear anything else about China. Of course, every day I get that alert from or that notification from IBD about, futures down as China trade talks resume. I'm like, screw you, IBD. I don't want to hear anything about China. Just tell me futures slightly down. That's all I want to hear. Could care less about China right now. It's just both sides are trying to play each other, and we're just caught up in the middle. I just don't want to deal with it. Look, the only way, I don't know about the only way, but if we go into a recession in the U.S., which, it's fairly likely that's going to happen, maybe sometime in 2020 is obviously what everyone's saying about that. If we get that recession, markets may go lower. But you got the Fed that just said they're pumping. They're going to do some asset buying, which is going to be basically QE4, or was it 6 at this point? And then you've got, the Federal Reserve keeping rates low, the Federal Reserve buying stuff. You've got the U.S. still the best place to deploy capital in the globe. And then we're going to resolve the thing with China eventually. So, I don't know. All signs are pretty good for U.S. I'm not sure about some of the other stocks around the globe in terms of how those things perform, but there's one thing about being the most dominant in your industry and in the industry of economics. U.S. is still top dog for now. I mean, even when China eventually takes over, from a GDP perspective, we still have the market leaders in, like, I don't know, 70% of the global economy. So it's hard to get away from that scale. It's not like you're gonna replace Procter and Gamble overnight. You're not gonna replace, um, no, maybe they've already replaced Alcoa. You're not gonna replace Boeing. You're not gonna replace Microsoft. You're not gonna replace all of it. I mean, it's all based into the markets, so they will go up. They will go up. And then even if Europe gets healthy again, that's going to make the U.S. even stronger. So, yeah, I don't necessarily view long term. I don't think it's a bad thing. Short term, garbage chop, garbage chop. But even if we resolve China without a trade deal, I think we'll get a nice move up. But the downside to that could be if China's found other trading partners. So yeah, I don't know who's going to come out ahead of that. That's probably one thing, a side effect that what should we call them? I'm trying to call our glorious leader. I'm trying to do a Kim Jong Un thing with Trump. Glorious leader, isn't that what they call him? Anyway, I'm not sure if you thought about that side effect. So, all right, let's check out DocuSign looking pretty good here today after a nice little breakout move yesterday from this little range. I'm going to get out of here in a little bit, guys. Got to cut it short today. We talked about that earlier. A little bit more green. We were exactly 50-50 earlier. So now we're definitely more green than red, which is good. Silver taking it on the chin a little bit. So is the gold trade. PFPT, Docu. Is Tesla leading our list? Wow, Tesla's leading our list. So Tesla's doing pretty good here. I don't mind a little bit of Tesla, Eli. I actually just bought some. I just bought a little bit of Tesla. Like actual stock, not options. Some real Tesla. Oh, and guess what my commissions were on the Tesla trade? 0. 0 commissions on my Tesla trade. That's awesome. Okay, so now I have to go. So you guys probably don't know this, but there's a website called Quora, Quora. I know some people know it, some people don't, so I'm going to mention it. I do a lot of I find that website therapeutic, so I do a lot of posting on there. I answer a lot of questions, and I always tell them to take commissions into account. With commissions being gone, there's like no barrier to the stock market now. It's pretty amazing. You can literally jump in with $50 and start investing. How cool is that? That is so cool. I gotta do a video on that. That like literally changes the game. Especially if you want to do just like micro investing. If you want to buy once a week, boom, do it. Just do a buy once a week. Buy one share a week of what's GE now? GE's like 42 cents. That's not accurate, but 8.43. You want to buy GE for 8.43? Buy it for 8.42. Buy it for 8.42 and pay 0 commission. That is that's just phenomenal. That's just phenomenal. I mean, that's unfortunately it's probably going to cause some people to overtrade a little bit more than they should, but I think really it should empower the smaller investor to actually get involved and do something and not be scared about commissions. I think it's awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Have a good day out there. Market looks like we're trying to rally a little bit. We have a couple of highs from a few days ago and this Bollinger Band, the middle Bollinger Band, acting as resistance here currently. So we'll see what happens with that, but I don't think we're probably not going to try for another run up. We got to get over that 77.96 level where my cursor is right now. Yeah, Rob. I mean, look, here's the thing, like I used to talk about in crypto all the time, it's the best place to try to learn to trade because the commissions are percentage based. But now that pendulum has completely swung back to the stock market. Because with zero commissions, now you don't have to pay to play. You can actually do real life trades with one share. You could trade this pop with GE right there, and as a retail trader, you're not going to get hurt on. I mean, because let's say you're paying to play and you're paying $10 total for each side, and you just want to play this, you're going to pay $80, $84 for 10 shares. It's going to cost you $5, and when you exit, you're going to take another $5 out of you. So, but now you can do whatever you want to do. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.